time now for a tour of the French papers with Diptyque Laurent. Good morning to you, Diptyque.
Good morning, Thomas.
You're starting with the papers here in France that are decrypting the aftermath of that triple suicide and gun attack in Istanbul.
They are indeed, Thomas. Turkey is a risky destination. That's according to the headline from 20 Minutes, which of course is a street paper. Tuesday's attack was the fifth such attack in Turkey in just 6 months, in the first half of this year. And security in Turkey is more than ever at risk, so much so that according to 20 Minutes, the French Foreign Ministry is now issuing a warning to its citizens, discouraging tourists travel there. Now, no one has officially claimed responsibility for the attack, but Turkish authorities say it has all the hallmarks of an Islamic State group-style attack.
And the communist paper L'Humanité is saying that President Erdogan is paying the price for aiding and abetting the Islamic State group.
In a way, complicity, that's a word that comes out of this rather damning editorial from L'Humanité. Now, the Turkish government's complicity in the sense that it's the Turkish government's complicity with the Islamic State group, but also European nations' complicity in turning a blind eye to what was happening in Turkey. According to the communist paper, the Islamic State group were, quote, supported for a long time by the Turkish government. Now, it's only been in the last year that the Turkish president has really ended this complicit relationship. And as a result, the jihadists are now turning on their protector, much like Osama bin Laden did back in the day. And for this reason, Erdogan must now pay the price. I want to show you also an article in Le Parisien. A Turkish expert has been interviewed by the paper. He sort of echoes these ideas and says, in its fight against terrorism, Turkey has put in the same basket the threat from the Islamic State group and the threat from Kurdish militants. And now is the time to realize that the threat from the IS group is far greater.
Well, that triple suicide attack at Ataturk Airport exposed security issues for airports around the world. And Libération is questioning just how secure an airport can be.
It's a really big question that was also evoked right after the Brussels attacks back in March. Impossible security, that's a headline from Libération with a near full-page photo of Ataturk Airport. Now, already in Brussels, after the Brussels attack, the limits of airport security surveillance were exposed. It's been exposed once again after Tuesday's attack, and authorities are looking at what they could do to make airport security better, safer. But the real question evoked by Libération is just, can you make an airport foolproof safe? And is it really something that's possible? So that's really the question coming out of Libération.
One country does seem to have got it right when it comes to airport security.
That's right. Still staying with Libération, that country is Israel. Now, it's a really interesting article, Thomas, that looks at Israel's airport security, which was for a long time seen as excessive. And yet today, Tel Aviv's Ben Gurion Airport is one of the safest in the world, but it comes at a cost. The cost being that passengers need to show up at least 3 hours before their boarding time. And according to Libe, passengers must endure about 11 security checks that begins with just arriving on the premises of the airport to actually getting on the plane. And it's not just the passengers. The company that's contracted to deal with security could see their contract revoked if there's any sort of deficiencies shown in security.
OK, let's move on to the Brexit debate now. Immigration, one of the top topics in those discussions in Brussels.
That's right. Immigration, but European migrants, for once, are actually at the center of debates and talks. Now, EU leaders met for the first time on Tuesday as a group of 27, something rather symbolic in the aftermath of the Brexit vote. And according to Le Figaro, they have issued an ultimatum. They've told Britain that it won't have access to the EU market unless it allows free circulation of EU citizens. And that ultimatum really for Le Figaro, this issue could, quote, poison the outcomes of future trade agreements with Britain for years to come and possibly stall talks.
The French president has given a very long interview in Les Echos on that theme.
The French financial paper, that's right. It's a very diverse interview, but a very long one where he evokes several subjects, including unemployment, immigration, and also the Brexit vote. For the French president, he says the choice of 52% of British people to leave the EU is, quote, irrevocable. And he says there's no time to lose now, because otherwise immobility, not doing anything right now, will be the undoing of Europe. He also responds to questions from Les Echos that he may have disappointed his electors in his mandate, to which the president says that betraying them would have been to leave the country in the state in which he found it back in 2012.
Okay, let's end with something a little bit lighter, and that's the Euro 2016 football tournament, which is happening here in France. And Les Bleus, that's the French team, are set to meet Iceland this Sunday in the quarterfinals.
That's right. Le Parisien is actually looking at what football players get up to in their downtime. Well, actually, it turns out that it's pretty normal stuff. Patrice Evra, for instance, is a resident DJ. The players love rap, reggaeton, but also the French golden oldies like Michel Sardou. Surprise. They also play card games. They do crosswords, brain teasers, ping pong, table tennis, billiards. And not surprisingly, a lot of them enjoy a round of FIFA 16 on their video console games.
It's so childlike. It's very sweet. Thank you very much, Diptyka, for that spin through the French press this hour.